Welcome to the Eagle Valley Model Railroad. Now, being from Georgia, when I hear ground cover, this is what I'm thinking. So we're going to try to implement this onto the layout. So let's get started.
Alright, so all we've done is gone in the backyard and we've gotten us some red clay. Hadn't done anything to it other than scooped it up and put it in this bucket. The process we're going to go through now is to sift it through a couple of different colanders. And we have two different sizes. I got both of these from the dollar store, the true dollar store, so these were $1 a piece. You can clearly tell that one of them's got some bigger holes in it, and then the wire mesh right here is pretty fine. Pretty self-explanatory. Add you some dirt. And shake. Some of your bigger chunks, you can bust them up. I don't do anything as far as cleaning out any of the trash. The sifters will do that for me, and then we can dispose of that. So break up some of the material, shake it down. You can do this as much as you want to. So you start getting some of the material that you can use on the layout. We're going to sift this down again and see what it looks like. So what we have here is the raw material from outside, and it's been sifted through this colander. And that gives us this material. Our next step is to sift it through this one to get our material even smaller. Now, for your larger scales, the first sift might be just right. For HO and N scale, to me, it looks better going just a little bit smaller. So basically just work your material in and let the colander do the work here. And once you feel like you've got it enough, that's basically what you come up with. And that can be utilized for larger aggregate. So what we're going to do now is send our material through the mesh screen one more time. The next step in the process is going to be to let this dry. So we're just going to go outside, sit it in the sun, and leave it for a couple hours, and we'll see what we come up with. Okay, so this has been sitting outside in the sun for a couple of hours, and probably every 45 minutes or so we would go out and just move it around to make sure we get all the clay dry. We're going to sift this one more time, and this should be ready to go on the layout. Now at this point it's going to be very, very dusty, so you want to take your time, kind of go extra slow with it, because again it is very dry and it's going to be very dusty. You want to do this in a well ventilated area and even outside if possible. Get it down as far as you want it to go. Put the rest to the side, and there we go. We'll go place this on the layout and see how it turns out. So guys, this is the area we're going to be focusing on. It's the scrap yard, and right behind the paper mill. We see the dark green to our right representing the grass, and then the brown yellowish area, which is supposed to be dirt, looks like dead grass. We're going to change that out with actual red clay from the backyard, and basically it's been sifted and dried out, not necessarily for bugs or anything, but just to get the moisture out of it, so it could be something that we could use on the layout. So we're going to go through the process of taking up what we have down now and we'll see what it looks like when we get the other put in place. Alright, so we've cleaned this area up and we've vacuumed up the loose pieces, and we've processed our red clay, and basically all we did was sifted it with 2 different size sifters. Basically got them from the dollar store. One of them was a wire mesh that was pretty fine, and this is the material we've come up with. It's pretty well sifted out to the smaller stuff, I think. And we're going to apply this to this area and see what we come up with. So how we're going to apply this, we're going to take our half and half mix of water and white glue and pretty much just put it in the area that we want it. Just a rough spread of it. Get us a paintbrush. And be mindful that, don't spread your glue where you don't want the dirt to go. Alright guys, so I did let this dry out in the sun. Not necessarily for any kind of bugs or anything, but just to remove moisture. So now we're going to do a liberal coat of this in the area. Trying to get it in all the little cracks and crevices. Build it up around our steps just a little bit. Come back and give it just a little bit of a pat, just to get rid of some of those designs that form when you're laying this stuff out. It's going to form some kind of designs just from the shaker, or the cup in this case. Try to push some in the corners of the steps there. building right in the position of where our magnet is in the track. You can really feel it get strong right in that area. So this building is going to give me a visual indication of where my magnet system is. That way I don't have to mark it with anything. So I know my magnets are right around this area. So once my train approaches, I can go ahead and go to a stop and have it in the real good area of where the magnets are. So I don't have to have any other visual cue of where they're at, so I can decouple my trains or decouple my cars. This is an old plastic truck with the plastic wheels, and basically I'm just, while it's wet, running it through on the rails just to make sure that the dirt that's been placed has a little bit of a separation from the rails. It just helps for cleanup later on. We've got this covered with our glue mixture and just let it dry. I mean, this may take a few hours. This may take a day. It may take longer than that. I don't know how this real dirt's going to react. It was pretty dry when we applied it because I did want to get the moisture out of it. There was some small critters in it, and I think sitting out in the sun for about 3 hours yesterday, the critters didn't like it too much, so I think we're good there. But this is where we're at right now, guys, and when this dries up, we'll come back and we'll see what it looks like. Alright, so after a couple days of drying, this is our end result. I think I like it. I like it a lot. So we're going to utilize this technique and place it around the layout in different areas. This is going to be our earth base from here on. Thanks for watching. Remember, like, share, subscribe, and until next time, happy modeling.